right, let's talk about health and safety. We're going to look at safety as this living, breathing thing, a system we actually build and a skill we get better at every single day.
So let me ask you something. What's the real difference between being lucky and being safe? I mean, really think about it. Lucky is, well, you just dodged a bullet by chance, right? But being safe, that's different. That's avoiding the problem on purpose. It's about having a plan, a design. The thing is, luck, it runs out. A good safety system, that's something you can count on. So the big question is, how do we actually build one?
Okay, so our journey begins right here with part 1, building a safe workplace. This is all about laying the groundwork, the foundations of prevention. It's literally everything we do before something can go wrong to make sure it doesn't. The key word here is state. That's not just some random word choice. A state is a condition, right? Something you create, something you have to maintain. Safety isn't an accident. It's the exact opposite of an accident. It's the result of a system that's been carefully designed and thought through. And that whole system, it really rests on 2 simple but super powerful pillars. First, you follow the instruction that tells you what you need to do. Then you follow the procedure. That tells you how to do it step by step, the same way, the right way, every single time. It's all about consistency. That's the secret sauce. And holding all this up is the support structure. Think of it like this. You've got the rule. That's kind of the law of the land, what you have to do. Then you've got the training, which is the knowledge you need to actually follow that law. And finally, you have the officer, the person on the ground who's your guide, your expert, making sure the whole thing works. All right, moving on to part 2, identifying threats. So we've got our system set up, great, but now we have to learn how to see the world differently. Like we're putting on a pair of safety glasses. And that means really getting the difference between a hazard, a risk, and, actual danger. Okay, this is so important to get right. Let's use a classic example, a wet floor. The wet floor itself, that's the hazard. It has the potential to cause harm. Simple enough. But the risk, that's the chance that someone will actually get hurt. Is that wet floor in the middle of a super busy hallway, or is it in a storage closet that's locked? See? The hazard, the wet floor, is exactly the same, but the risk, totally different. And that brings us to danger. Danger is the final stop on this train. It's that moment when the potential for harm becomes a reality right now. So let's stick with our wet floor. The floor is the hazard. Someone walking right toward it, not paying attention, that's the risk. The instant their foot hits that water and starts to slip, that is danger. So, we build these great systems, we train ourselves to spot threats. But let's be real, sometimes things still go wrong. The unexpected happens. So what then? What do you do in that moment of crisis when all that prevention stuff is out the window? And that brings us to part 3, the moment of crisis. This is all about what we do next. It's about our response. Because when prevention doesn't work, how we react, calmly, with training, can literally change everything. A crisis can look like a lot of different things, right? But one of the big ones, one of the most sudden, is a fire. And a fire isn't just one problem. Oh no, it's a whole bunch of problems all at once. You've got the heat, the smoke, the building itself could become unstable. It demands that everyone acts and acts together right now. Or a crisis could just be a sudden, unexpected accident. A fire might give you some warning signs like smoke, but an accident? Maybe a piece of machinery breaks down. Poof! A totally normal Tuesday turns into a critical situation in the blink of an eye. That's when our training and our systems get put to the ultimate test. So whether we're talking about a fire or an accident, what they create is an emergency. And just look at the words in that definition. Serious, unexpected, and the big one, requires immediate action. This isn't something you can put off. There is 0 time to waste. And what's the first signal? What's the universal sound for, Houston, we have a problem? It's the alarm. That sound is designed to do one thing: cut through every other noise, every other distraction. Because when you hear that alarm, it is not a suggestion, it is a command. It means stop whatever you are doing and start your emergency plan now.
Okay, the alarm is blaring. Now what? That takes us to part 4, the critical response. And in this moment, there's no room for panic. Panic is not an option. Having a plan, that's the option. So let's walk through the steps. The priorities here are crystal clear. Number 1,
Evacuation. Get out. Get yourself out, get others out, get away from the danger. How do you know where to go? Follow the signs. They're not just decorations, they're your map to safety. And if you have the training, you might need to provide first aid. That's about giving someone that vital help in those first critical seconds. So we've talked about the big picture, the systems, the emergency plans, but there is one final layer of protection. And that brings us to our last section, part 5, Gear Up. This is about your personal line of defense, the stuff that physically separates you from the hazard. We're talking about PPE, personal protective equipment. And I want you to really hear that word personal. This isn't just a uniform, it's your personal shield. Every single piece is designed with one job in mind, to protect a specific part of your body from a very specific kind of harm. And this is what that shield actually looks like. It's not just one thing, it's a whole system working together. Your goggles, they're for your eyes. The respirator, that's for your lungs. The boots, for your feet. Each piece is doing its job, and together, they create your own personal suit of armor, tailor-made to fight off the specific hazards you might face. But after we've talked about all the rules, all the training, all the fancy equipment, it really all boils down to one thing, and it's something you can't even wear. Awareness. It's the thing that lets you see the wet floor in the first place, the thing that helps you understand the risk, the thing that makes you react to the alarm. Awareness is the tool that makes all the other tools actually work. So I want to leave you with this one last question, a little food for thought. Now that you know this stuff, now that you know how to look for hazards and think about risk, what's the one hazard you walk past every single day? At work, at home, wherever. What's that one thing you've just been getting lucky with instead of being safe with? Really think about it.